A turnstile to avoid people sneaking on public transport. Dang, I'm not saying that like bus and city fares aren't necessary to maintain the infrastructure. Like, I get it, they take upkeep and you gotta pay people to work them. But are they really going as far as to make the torment nexus to make sure people literally get in line about the whole thing? Hi again, fellas, and today we're looking at r/hostile architecture. You guys are probably familiar with the concept of anti-homeless architecture, where a bunch of cities will just make stuff like benches with pointless armrests in the middle of a chair so that people without homes can't lay down on them. Homelessness is a complicated issue, but I would say this is not even close to a solution, because at the end of the day, this isn't getting roofs over people's heads. It's just trying to discourage them from being in public places where people can see them. And then they like make it so they can't even sleep under the bridge where they would be hidden. And as a result of doing like all this anti-homeless architecture, it just ends up being anti-human, and it makes these public utilities more inconvenient for everybody in the city to use regularly. It sucks. That said, hostile architecture isn't solely about homeless people. It's like anything that makes it harder for anyone to use it, and we're gonna be digging into some of that today. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it. Also, be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Damn, the benches were messing with the budget that much? That's crazy. At MTA. From the NYCT subway account, hi Jeremy. Benches were removed from stations to prevent the homeless from sleeping on them. Courtesy of JP. Hey, thanks man, at least for telling the truth. One of the few places the public has access to shelter overhead, especially in a place like New York, where it can get hot as sin or cold as hell. The last thing we would want is homeless people using those benches on after hours when all the trains aren't running anyways. I'm sure there's like more specific logistical concerns that would give some justification to certain measures like this. I'm not interrogating them though right now. It's just like, could you be a little less brazen about swinging your cock in my face about the whole thing at least, man? At least pretend there's an ulterior motive. But no, it's like the most honest I've seen a government institution be. It's like, fuck homeless people. An anti-homeless bench covered up as a wheelchair-friendly bench. A bench that's very inclusive. I assume this says in a different language. Ah, yes, of course. This seems completely free of ulterior motives. I know when I'm using my wheelchair, I'm definitely short of places to sit. Like, the only thing this is providing a person with a wheelchair is a backrest, you know, the thing they already had on their chair. And the thing is, these people can like bring the chair with them places, man. That bench is just so inconvenient to get in and out of. I don't know why anybody thought it wasn't going to be see-through. Feels more like they were just trying to save on materials for a center chair. If you're gonna do the handlebars thing that separate the different seats so that homeless people can't go on it, at least it means like 3 or 4 people can still use it. But in this case, one less person is gonna be able to use the bench at most times. There is a door to the cafeteria at my home school, and it's just like a straight up New York subway style turnstile. Turnstile. Man, I gotta get better with words. My thing is, I don't really understand what this is even meant to prevent. Is this like a private school where you're expected to pay for your lunch upon entry? Or is it more supposed to just create a choke point of egress where everybody has to slow down like at a speed bump so it doesn't just scrape the bottom of your car clean the fuck off? This isn't like anti-homeless, it's in a school. You wouldn't be able to get into those very easy at night anyways. The only thing I can think of that this is there for is in the event of a school shooter. That way maybe you can lock them down and slow them from getting to other parts of the school. I'm sure somebody thought this through. I would just probably vehemently disagree with whatever thoughts they had about it. If you guys know any more information on why something like this would exist, because I'm not even sure what type of person this is supposed to be hostile to, please let me know. Okay, here we have something that's like low-key a little based. It's not a solution to homelessness, but a great step in the right direction. Well done, Canada. It's still from an account called Dystopian Design, where like something like this getting made kind of indicative of a larger societal issue and how we talk about these things. But Rain City Housing provides specialized housing and support services for the homeless. To help communicate this, we created a transit bench that transforms into a temporary shelter for those in desperate need. When the roof is up, Rain City Housing's address is posted on the inside along with the message, "Find a home." Listen, when I was in Vancouver, there was absolutely a solid amount of anti-homeless architecture, so I'm not saying they got their shit on lock over there, man. It's one of those cities you need to be like a millionaire just to get a foothold in, but even like little things like this are a very small salve on a gigantic bleeding wound that I'm like, it stings, but maybe it'll help heal that spot. Okay, this is actually a repost from a more comedic subreddit, r/there was an attempt, and it does kind of show the inherent flaw in hostile architecture where there's always gonna be a response to that, man. And you know, honestly, this one seems like kind of a no-brainer because there's no reason this many poles have to be near each other. A fraction of these could probably stop a vehicle trying to ram into the doors, and honestly, I could find a comfortable sleeping position just kind of intertwined around all these rails, man. I'm flexible. This dude said, fuck it, I'm not even bothering bothering with that, I'm using this as a bed frame. Everybody tells you about how you shouldn't have your mattress directly on the floor for back support and all that. I don't know the science, but this guy's like, fuck it, I might be homeless, but I'm taking care of my spine. Homie's over here reading a fucking book on top his mattress on top the poles, man. They can take my benches, but they can never take my bathrooms, this caption says, as they share an image that absolutely shows they are going to try anyways. Breaking news. Say goodbye to comfort breaks. New downward tilting toilets are designed to become unbearable to sit on after 5 minutes. They say the main benefit is to employees and improved employee productivity. Man, the fast food job I worked before YouTube would have loved to have this thing, and I know those toilets hated to see me coming when I was working there. They almost definitely knew that's what I was in there doing. It's just the rest of my coworkers and even my managers did the same shit. This is like the alternative to taking a smoke breaks, man. I just want to get my time off without getting like smoker's lung. And they had to have known because the only other conclusion they could have come to was me just having rancid IBS. I had like 4 8-hour shifts a week and I would spend like at least 15 minutes in there every day, man. I was on my phone, of course. So the only other explanation for that would be I made a big shitty mess and had to take a lot of time to clean it up so no one noticed. Can we all agree having to pay for a human necessity is a major asshole design? They added a turnstile to the fucking toilet, dude. And to be fair, this is like the widest turnstile thing I've ever seen. This is gonna be so easy to just go under, over, slide across the median, whatever you want to do, man. This is not stopping shit. Literally. I was in New York recently, and I think it makes total sense that not every business there is gonna have a publicly accessible toilet for every customer that comes in. It's for employees, and you don't want to mix it up. Plus the bill that comes with the utilities to actually maintain something like that if you're a smaller place. But like, a turnstile implies some kind of public utility. Why the fuck is that in front of a bathroom, man? This is useless. I think it's kind of funny that it has a credit card reader closer to things that I see on like arcade and vending machines than I've ever seen in like a Subway. Incredible stuff, man. That said, while we're talking about toilets, would this be a bad time to mention that I have a U2's figure? I don't want to take it out of the box. This is the first one, man. You gotta treat it nice. Nina, use the already recorded stock footage. It must be kept in mint condition. This little guy exists because y'all supported the plush I launched last year so much, and I really appreciate it. So I've done my best to put my whole pussy into this thing as well. I've tried to give it even more attention to detail with little cool things to find both on the character itself and in the packaging that I think you guys are gonna appreciate. They're very personalized to viewers of the channel, so I think you'll like it. And when you got the plushie, you could do whatever you wanted with it. Hug it, put it in your plushie pile, hang it, whatever you feel the need to do to me, but can't because I'm through a screen to you. But this guy's even smaller, and there technically can fit in even weirder spots. It would go nice on any figure shelf. You could keep it on your desk so I can watch you while you do your work, because that's definitely what you want from me. And you know, the typical tagline goes that it fits very conveniently inside a jar. Do with that what you will. That said, he's only available for the next few weeks. On May 20th, this little fella is gone forever. So if you want to pick one up, it would be much appreciated, and he's available at the first link in the description for a limited time only. Okay, this next one is just fucking absurd. Who decided this is how we should market things? To promote short sale at clothing store Superette, these guys turn thighs into advertising canvases by creating benches with reversed etched lettering that when sat on, create an impression reading, short shorts on sale Superette. The thing I hate about this the most, it's like, it's not a marketing campaign made for whoever is getting imprinted on to be like, huh, maybe I could get more of these shorts that I like. In fact, it would probably discourage them because it's showing them that this is what companies are doing when you wear short shorts. In fact, if you didn't realize that this was on the bench, it's turning you into an unwilling canvas for advertising. I'm sorry, do you know how fucking hard it is to look at the back of your own goddamn thigh? You take a picture with the phone camera, it's probably gonna flip it around and be unreadable. This is for the people walking behind you, and if you have a particularly fat ass like myself, they're already gonna be looking down there. I mean, it's human nature. I know it's hard to resist looking, just don't stare too long and we don't have a problem. But these guys are using my incredible assets and they're trying to make money off of me. I want an affiliate code at the very least for that shit, man. That's messed up. Over here we have a lockable bench. Damn, that shit is locked up tight. And like, it looks neatly folded, but I think I get the same vibes off this thing that I think a lot of people would when they first find out what a chastity belt is. Like, it's not supposed to be there, man. Let that bench fly free. It's suffocating. It's choking. How is it gonna eat when you close its mouth like that? It loves chewing on butt. Okay, this one is just really funny considering the picture. I had no idea what this was gonna be when I first saw the image on it, because it's just a guy fucking looking at you in the mirror in a selfie. It unironically looks kind of like my buddy Mark. The stalls in the restrooms at my job are only chest height to keep people from spending too long in the restrooms. I'm 5'9" for reference. Okay, I'm 5'5", so there's a good chance I wouldn't be able to see over these stalls unless I was on my tippy toes. That said, man, it would make it very easy for someone not to realize that I'm in there while I'm actively shitting, and then somebody like who's at least 6 foot just peers peers over the top, not even trying to be a peeping Tom. And then they just look down at me like that one fucking Pepe the Frog who's fallen down and crying, man. It's like, don't short people have it hard enough? Do we really have to be embarrassed like this for the sake of not giving your employees the time to shit that they probably need? Now, this is where we have to get back to the theory of evolution, because if humans continue to create this kind of architecture that where we try to make public utilities as hostile to us as possible, it stands to reason that like 50,000 years in the future, the people that could best adjust to this hostile architecture are going to be the ones that we look the most like down the line. The only real solution is for human beings to evolve into becoming chairs themselves. Like, look at this, bro. This is a complete diagonal, and this person can just sit all cozy on it like it's a lazy boy at home. This would definitely be like a weird concept for an anime where everybody is just a different type of furniture. Or it's a fanfic alternate universe where everybody has like the curvature of a specific surface on the face of the earth, and they're spending their whole life trying to find their perfect fit. Maybe they'll even find their soulmate through that. Fucking, if you want to expound on that and make an AU, just don't say I made it, because I don't want to be mentioned in those conversations. Now this next one is a type of thing that's a fairly common practice in a lot of Olympic host countries. Not this exact thing, but countries going to lengths in order to, we'll say, to hide certain aspects of the country. This wall in Rio de Janeiro constructed around their highways to keep Olympic tourists from seeing their favelas. This is the thing, America even does this kind of shit. They cleaned up the fuck out of San Francisco when Xi Jinping was coming through for a motorcade run, and in both cases they were just hiding the issue instead of, you know, putting them in fucking houses. This is another reason I hate anti-homeless architecture being so widespread, because the philosophy is starting to bleed into other parts of public life. A boring dystopia. Tilted seating so you don't outstay your welcome in the food court. Bro, I paid for the fucking food. Certainly my ass is entitled to some comfortable sitting time so I can fucking consume this. It's like they also want to tilt you in a position that makes your bowels more uncomfortable so you have to poop faster and then pay up the fee at the turnstile toilet. It's all a racketeering scheme, man. They're all in cahoots in order to get the most amount of money out of you by making you pay for every little thing you do throughout a day. That's an exaggeration mostly made for comedy, but I'm not gonna lie, it seems like that's a viable direction we could be going in, which, you know, doesn't make me super happy. But again, it's nice to see that no matter what, where there is a will, there is a human way. A lot of hostile architecture is created so that people can't recreationally do things on public property. There has been custom anti-grip paint developed for certain places in the UK where parkour has a pretty thriving subculture so that you can't climb up shit very easily. But in the case of that, like, there are people who have made it a challenge to be able to scale like anti-grip paint buildings anyways, and guys like this who just use their skateboard as a chair so they can sit on the concrete wall that they weren't meant to while sipping a beer. I don't know what like public drinking is like in a whatever city this is, but you know what, fuck it, man. Civil disobedience. They're already being dicks to us. They haven't earned my loyalty. Punishing the homeless, except they have to punish everyone else to do so. Yep, here's more of that anti-homeless stuff being bad for literally everybody else too. Can't sit down after teaching for hours just because someone wants to punish the homeless. Just the worst. I don't even think that I'm tall enough for my ass to reach the part of the structure that your cheeks are even supposed to rest on, man. Even if my legs don't reach the ground when I'm sitting on a bench, at least my butt can hold the weight. But no, this is like my lower back going on this damn thing, and it's probably not lined up for the curvature very well. This is such a perfect metaphor of what we all give up due to the fear that someone else might get something for free. And truthfully, what are they really getting for free? A fucking harsh surface that they know they're gonna have to get up from at some point because other people are gonna come around in the morning? More benches in the Philadelphia subway station, and you know, at least these ones you can sit on like they have some type of curvature, and I guess they got artsy-fartsy about the dystopia. Listen, if we're gonna turn into like a complete anti-human nightmare, can we at least like design things to look cool? Like, at the very least, I can see utility for this thing as a cool tech deck ramp where you can just walk alongside it while doing tricks with your fingers on a little skateboard. That said, we can absolutely make things that look cool and are also usable. Even if there's good anti-homeless reason, why can less people now sit on benches because they look all freaky and twisty, man? I want to take this moment to also give a shout out to old people in the world. A follow-up to the Sao Paulo post where Julio Lancelotti, I hope I said that right, a 72-year-old priest was taking matters into his own hands. A lot of bricks were put under this bridge so that homeless people couldn't seek shelter under it from the elements. So this elderly man, who for all intents and purposes should be retired, but he's a priest, the work never really stops for them folk. He got out there with a sledgehammer and his bad back and still put his arms into that shit, and he's like, I'm taking it down myself. Now, I also love the occasional post on this subreddit where it's like, what's the opposite of hostile architecture? What are things that can be found in the world built specifically for the purpose of being used by humans in a convenient way? Like, you have this thing that is specifically supposed to give you the comfiest bench sitting experience you can probably have on something made out of wood. I could see like a date late at night in the park, just putting a towel over this and stargazing with a friend, or, you know, maybe something more than a friend. Assuming this isn't the type of park where drug deals happen at night, in which case, you know, maybe avoid that idea. Still, whatever you do with it, at least it's not designed to be, like, harder to use. Okay, now this is the anti-homeless architecture I can really get behind. A house. You know what would really get people off the streets and stop them from becoming a problem for much longer if you don't want to see them? Put them in a home! I know the housing crisis is complicated and it's not as simple as there's more houses than there are people. We have empty houses. A lot of it is like fucking zoning laws and shit that have been entrenched in America for decades at this point and just completely destroyed certain parts of the country. But in that case, building more is certainly gonna be part of the solution, I think. Now, this is the one place I do really approve of seeing the anti-homeless architecture, and that's in a game like Cyberpunk 2077, where this is explicitly the point of the game. This is a fucking hellscape. Companies control everything about society. If you don't have money, you are at the bottom of the barrel. Everything is commodified. There is no public social net guaranteed. So why the fuck would public utilities and benches be given that treatment, man? Like, it makes a lot of sense for the game world. I'm sure there are more, like, egregious examples in the game of that type of architecture, but in this particular case, I think they should have gone even harder. Like, governments at least try to be a little sly about it, like not too intrusive about the whole thing. I think companies would just throw caution to the wind and be like, nah, fuck it, you will actually get a hole in your asshole if you sit here. That said, I think we've had enough depressing architecture realities to look at for now. That card I mentioned should be on screen now. Remember, my U2s is out for a limited time only if you want to check it out, first link in the description, and be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload if you enjoyed. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.